And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Today I'm talking about two Small World expansions. Small World is a very, very popular game, one of the best of last year, 2009, and there's been many expansions for it. Well, this one of the expansions I'm going to talk about, it comes with a new tray for the game. The other one, the island of the Necromancer Island, is a small expansion they give out at conventions, or you can get through various other ways. And so I thought I'd lump both of them together in this review. Let's look at these expansions. The first expansion we'll look at is Be Not Afraid. They call it a mini expansion, but that's pretty much what all the expansions have been anyway. In this expansion, there are 5 new races and 5 new special powers. So let's look at our combos that we've randomly put together. First we have Barricading Barbarians. Barricading means you get 3 gold coins at the end of each turn where you have 4 regions or less. Basically, they keep you small. If you stay small, you get more, which is helpful too, because if you're in a smaller area, you have more units and you're less prone to be attacked. That's okay. Mixed with Barbarians, I don't know how that will work. Barbarians actually have a negative thing. Barbarians can't redeploy troops at the end of each turn. So if you can't put them somewhere else, if you fail in your final conquest turn, you can't even keep those people on the board. So maybe they fit well. What's interesting about the Barbarians is they don't have a positive power. They just have 9 people. That's 13 Barbarians you're bringing on the board here with the Barricading Barbarians. Imperial Homunculi. Imperial means you get extra coins for every region that you have. That's over 3, so they're the opposite of barricading to some degree. The Homunculi, anytime they're bypassed, anytime you skip, you don't take this race, in addition to putting a coin on there, you'll also put one of the tokens for that race on the tile. So I put whatever, one of those plant people on that race. So every time they're skipped, so in the beginning they're not worth it because they don't really give any kind of bonus other than their special power. But we keep adding more and more units, they get more and more powerful as they get skipped, and eventually someone's going to take them. Pygmies, or mercenary pygmies, well that sounds fun. Mercenary, every time you conquer a region, you can spend a victory coin to reduce the number of tokens you need to conquer it by 2. That's not always useful, but can come in handy. While pygmies, every time you lose a pygmy token, you roll a reinforcement die, and that's how many pygmies you get from the storage tray. Now, of course, that means half time you'll be getting nothing, but other times you'll be getting 1, 2, or 3. So you're never sure when they're going to get more powerful. Corrupt. Yay. Corrupt is one of my favorite new powers. Anytime someone conquers one of your active regions, they have to give you a coin. Yeah. Pixies. 11. 11 pixies. The thing that's just great right there, their number. You just can't keep 2 of them, more than 2 in the same region. You can only have 1 per region. So they're very, very weak, but they can spread out very quickly. And then Catapult, which I think actually for me, Catapult is the weakest. Oh, you feeling seasick yet, everyone? Catapult is the weakest power. You can conquer a region that's 1 region away that's not adjacent with 1 less token than usual. And you can only do that once per turn. That's okay. It's no big deal. It's just, But the Leprechauns, by far my favorite. The Leprechauns come with a bunch of tokens, these pots of gold. At the end of each turn, you can put one of these pot of gold in each region you control. If no one has conquered that region by the end of the turn, it turns into $1 and you get to keep it. Yay! If someone else captures the region, well, it still turns into $1 and they get to keep it, which isn't so yay. But it has a bit of a gambling feel to it. Like, yeah, come take this region. Come on, come take it from me. All this comes in a nice storage tray. Let's look at the storage tray here, which holds not only all the pieces from this expansion, but would also hold pieces from the previous expansions too. So you can combine this tray with the original tray, unless you're like me and you got rid of the trays because you didn't know something like this was coming. This is better than the original tray because it's easier to get your fingers into this one. The next expansion is the Necromancer Island expansion, which comes with this and a few tokens. When you play the Necromancer Island expansion, whatever board you're using, you use a board that's 1 less than the number of players in the game. Which means this is a 4-player board, so you use this if there was 5 players. So you can play up to 6 players with this, and you can't play 2 players. You need at least 3 players. One player is a Necromancer, and in the middle of the lake, in the middle of the table, they put Necromancer Island. Oh, that just sounds evil, doesn't it? And in Necromancer Island, they'll put one of their ghost tokens, which you notice look like they're in decline on both sides, because they are. They'll put the rest of their ghost tokens on another tile. Let me show you this other tile. We'll put it here near the top of the board. And this is the Well of Souls. So here is all the other ghost tokens, all 12 of them. And these tokens are placed here. And what the Necromancer player is trying to do is he is trying to get all of these on the board. If he does so, he wins. Now here's how that works. There's a couple things. Let me explain. One is anytime somebody dies, so let's say I conquered a pixie and I kill a pixie, that pixie is placed over here. At the beginning of each turn, for every 4 dead people that's over here, this guy gets to bring a ghost out for free. He can also bring ghosts out by paying for them, and that's done through a couple means. First of all, I need to point out that he would get at the beginning of the game 6 special powers. Whoa! There's a couple powers he can't have, but 6 of these. Now, he gets picked one of them to start with, so let's say he starts with flying. Okay, that's a good special power. He can buy more special powers and more ghosts to put out on his island if he's got any coins that he's got from previous turns, which he should get because he has a few ghosts. So let's say his ghosts go out and conquer and he has 4 or 5 coins. When he buys more ghosts, he gets ghosts for free, remember, he pays 1 for every ghost on the board, so there's 3 ghosts on the board, plus 1 for every special power he has. So right now, each ghost he puts on the board will cost 4. Special powers he can also buy for the same thing, so he could buy another special power for 4 this turn, although obviously the more special powers he buys, the more ghosts he buys, the more expensive things are going to get. So it makes more sense from the beginning to buy some more special powers, so that because later on they're going to be expensive and probably not worth it, and you'll get the ghost for free. Now this presents a dilemma for everybody playing, because you're trying to conquer Small World. But at the same time, the more you do conquering, the more you're killing people off, the more you're helping out the Necromancer. Now you could go straight for the Necromancer and try and take him down, but, then you might be giving up your chance to win. See, there's a chance the Necromancer won't win. Then the person who's conquered the most does win. So this adds a very divisive element to the game, because players are working against the Necromancer, but they're also working against one another too. Almost reminded me of Fortress America and how the dynamics felt in this. So it's a pretty neat expansion. It's not necessary, but, it adds certainly a very different feel to the game. Alright, 2 expansions. The first, if you like Small World, you're going to want to get the Be Not Afraid expansion anyway, just because it adds 5 more races and 5 more special powers, which gives you umpteen million more different combinations. Lots of fun. There's nothing really groundbreaking in it, although I really do like the leprechauns, and if I can ever get something like Imperial leprechauns, I just like them. I like everything in it, and even the pixies are neat. I don't really like having a negative special power, but wow, 11 people, get a lot of pixies on the board, and you can really deal some damage. The Necromancer Island one is kind of a mixed bag. I like it, it's just something I don't want to play all the time, because it really changes the dynamic of the game. But if you like that aspect, if you like the way it sounded, it really is entertaining. Because the one player who's a Necromancer, it really comes down to how he plays. He can get greedy and try and buy special powers and pretty soon realize that he stretched himself too thin. We nail him to the wall, blow his force apart, and he doesn't have enough time to get them all on the board to win. So there's that back and forth, while other players could say, well, I'm going to make sure the Necromancer doesn't win. But you may do that at the cost of yourself winning. I like both expansions. I think Small World is infinitely expandable with things like this, little things that change the game not too greatly. Necromancer Island obviously changes it more, but it's something that you can do every, I would do it every 4th game. I just made that up though. So, it's a lot of fun. Try it out yourself.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.